Let's talk about Stellantis.
Yes.
Oh, okay. First, let's talk about Algoma Steel. So they get a $400 million loan as part of the we're fighting with the Americans. Americans aren't buying our steel, so we got to keep these steel companies afloat. In the meantime, the canola industry is larger than the steel industry, but nobody seems to care about those tariffs from China because it's all about protecting green cars. But anyway, Algoma Steel CEO testifies, or at least tells people, that the feds knew about plans for the layoffs before handing over the $400 million loan. So when they give them these loans and then they say, oh, look at us, we're protecting Canadian jobs, they gave it to a company who told them they were going to lay off Canadians.
This is absolutely insane. Like, $500 million. Well, the Canadian, I mean, it's not like we have money to just make it rain, or, the concept the money grows on trees here. Canada is teetering, and we have record numbers at the food bank. I know we kind of talk a lot about the state of Canada, and so we're going to coast by it a little bit. But this article from CTV News says the average Canadian family is expected to spend 2 to 3 times more on food than they did this past year, which is already 2 to 3 times higher than they have, in pre-pandemic times. The cost of food just continues to inflate and become exponentially higher than the years prior. And then you have the government sending $500 million in loan assistance to a company that knew they were going to lay off Canadian workers and jet set off into the land of the free in the United States, where they don't have the same ridiculous economy that we're left struggling with here. I mean, every day I talk about government ineptitude, but how are we? This is so bad that you can't ignore this anymore. This is reaching a precipice now.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's the whole Stellantis thing. So Stellantis at this point, it's what they call Dodge now. They're just rubbing it in our faces at this point, I think. So we've got this video and good on the White House. I mean, the people we chase away, or the people that are, taking advantage of Canadians, if they can poach them, I guess America first. I can't begrudge them that. But Stellantis CEO Antonio Filosa was in the White House, and he says it's a great day where we see CAFE regulations reconcile with real customers' demands. That's why at Stellantis, we've decided to invest $13 billion in the next 4 years because we believe in what you, Secretary Duffy, and what your team is doing. So this is Stellantis saying that they are eagerly investing $13 billion into the United States. Watch.
I think we can play this clip.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great day for us at Stellantis today, because it's the day where we see CAFE regulation reconciled with real customers' demand. That's why at Stellantis we decided to invest through Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler $13 billion in the next 4 years, increasing production by 50%, delivering to the market 5 new vehicles, and creating 5,000 additional jobs. That's because we believe in what you, Secretary Duffy, and all your team is doing in this country. We believe in growth, and we are ready to invest even more. So thank you very much. Thank you very much also for this great news of the K cars, which we are very interested in, and we are very looking forward to work with Secretary Duffy, your team, in the future for the next steps. Thank you very much.
We'll get ready for those cars because we've already cleared the way. You can start right away.
We will. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
You know what makes this? My blood is just boiling, because that money actually is basically a wash. That money came from Canadian taxpayers. We gave
$15 billion. They actually made $2 billion off the top. I've got the clip here from Andrew Scheer, although maybe with the conversion rate, it did come out as a wash. But I've got a clip of Andrew Scheer in the House of Commons we can show. But yeah, we gave them $15 billion with no guarantees that a single one of them would create Canadian jobs. I think they gave them another $220 million for the Brampton plant to make the Jeep Compass. And what did Stellantis turn around and do? With no guarantees, we just gave them free money. They took that manufacturing of that specific vehicle and moved it into the United States.
And then just gave them $15 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have that? Do you want to show that clip of Andrew Scheer in the House of Commons? Here it is. No audio.
This news out of GM today is another devastating blow for auto workers. It comes less than a week after Stellantis announced 3,000 layoffs as they move production from Canada into the U.S. The Prime Minister looked Canadians in the eye and promised that in exchange for their votes, he would prevent auto sector jobs from happening. Well, they're happening. If the government included a Canadian-wide job protection plan in their $15 billion deal to Stellantis, they can simply invoke that clause. The minister who signed the contract should be able to answer this question. Did they include a jobs protection clause in the contract to Stellantis?
Mr. Speaker, I know that the Conservatives have been wanting to see the contracts that are linked to the Stellantis plant. And you know what? We've said yes. So the opposition on the committee will have access to the contracts. And they will discover that indeed we negotiated well. And indeed, Stellantis is on the hook, Mr. Speaker.
Nope.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Mr. Speaker, it's been a week, and all we've got from this minister is political theatre. She's bragging about who she gets on the phone. She's bragging about the tough talks she's having. Here's the thing. If they actually included a jobs protection clause in the contract, all they have to do is invoke it. I'm starting to get a terrible feeling. I'm starting to worry that they signed a $15 billion deal with Stellantis and didn't include a guarantee to protect those Canadian jobs. Can the minister tell Canadians very clearly, explicitly, did they include a jobs protection plan for all jobs at Stellantis when they forked over $15 billion?
Mr. Speaker, I know that my colleague is trying to spook Canadians, but I just would like to remind him that the support that was given to the company was linked to the production of batteries, and therefore no money is spent.
Yeah, start from the top, please.
I know my colleague's trying to spook Canadians right now, but I think what is really, really important to remember is that any support from the government was linked to the production of batteries. And in that sense, our support is linked from the moment that the production is happening. The production has not necessarily happened yet. That being said, Mr. Speaker, what we will do is to make sure that we hold Stellantis to account, because obviously jobs are important in the Brampton facility, and we'll continue to fight for these jobs.
Yeah, I bet.
I found the clip where she was forced to admit at committee that she's lying to the House right there. Yeah. By the way, she's lying, but because of parliamentary privilege, you get to lie in the House. You can say things inside of the House of Commons that you can't say outside, which is why committee work is so important, because they can't lie at committee, which is why I very rarely watch the House of Commons except for entertainment purposes. The real stuff happens at committee. She lied in the House, and then she went over to committee and they pressed her on it, and where she said we negotiated jobs, they didn't. She didn't even read the contracts before they dished out $15 billion of your money. Watch this.
Have to respond. So on the commercially sensitive redactions, now on the SIF agreement for Nexstar, the jobs guarantee of $2,500 was not redacted. So it stands to reason that it wouldn't be redacted, wouldn't be commercially sensitive under a different SIF agreement. Surely you can tell us if there was a 3,000 person jobs guarantee for Brampton, and that's not commercially sensitive information. So it is concerning to me that you're not committing that there was a jobs guarantee for the Brampton facility.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So you're saying that there is?
I'm saying that all the plants were linked and all the contracts are linked. So you will be able to see it when we will be producing.
But if there wasn't a jobs guarantee of 3,000 people at Brampton, which is the whole reason you're here, then how is it that you're tying all of the money to a jobs guarantee that may or may not exist? You should be able to tell us if there is a jobs guarantee for the 3,000 jobs in Brampton.
I think you're falling into the trap of trying to find a problem where there's none.
Well, the problem is that 3,000 people were laid off,
the government
and
was
your government committed millions and billions, in fact, of dollars.
Well, MP Dancho, I don't know whether you want this to be a monologue or you want me to appear. Because
the question I'm asking you is very clear.
I don't need to be here.
Colleagues, I'm going to pause us again for a moment.
Okay, so what Raquel Dancho is astutely pointing out there is they got all the contracts, although there's some in the Stellantis contract that is redacted. But one of the other contracts for Nexstar shows that there is a jobs guarantee attached to the funding. But the Stellantis one doesn't show that. And she's like, well, Jolie was arguing, well, maybe it's one of the redactions. So Dancho is like, well, if you didn't redact it in that one, surely you wouldn't have redacted it in this one. So obviously it's not commercially sensitive if you left it in the one. So that stands to reason that there is no jobs guarantee, and Jolie couldn't say that there was.
And I'm pretty sure that that's the same committee also that Stellantis was a no-show.
Yeah, they didn't even come. Why would they?
They cited technical difficulties, and this is the same company that's trying to sell cutting-edge technology.
They didn't have a problem showing up in the White House, did they?
No, their IT, they hid behind IT problems. And Melanie Jolie says that it was that the company redacted or requested redacted contracts to be submitted to all of the MPs.
She could have said no.
Just 2 days ago, the National Post said that Stellantis contradicts that claim, that it was actually the government that asked to redact all of those contracts. So yeah, I guess she doesn't really need to be there. She doesn't need to be in the House of Commons. She doesn't need to be in committee because she's not going to tell the truth anyway. So
yeah,
what's the point of paying this person?
I mean, we're about to get our asses handed to us over the trade deal with the Americans. It's only going to get worse. We're seeing that, like, they're literally giving these companies money, and the companies are like, yoink, thanks, we're off to Michigan.
Right.
And, like, this is...
Here you are, Donald Trump.
What is happening here? Ned Carrick, he's a Hamilton MP. He brought this up in the House of Commons yesterday afternoon, I believe. Got a quick 1 minute clip. I can't believe Jolie still has a job. Well,
yeah, seriously.
We just had a swearing in the other day of Mark Miller. Somebody should be shuffling this nitwit out of her portfolio. Like, how many billions do you have to lose before you lose your job? I guess it's a lot if you're a Liberal. Let's watch this.
Found out that the Liberals knew Algoma was planning to lay off 1,000 steel workers before giving the company $400 million. I guess the Prime Minister was speaking the truth. He really doesn't care about protecting Canadian jobs. You know who does care? Conservatives care. And so do the thousands of Hamilton steel and manufacturing workers who go to bed every night wondering if they're going to have a job in the morning. Why is it with these Liberals there's always a guarantee for corporate welfare, but zero guarantees for the Canadian worker?
When my colleague is talking about corporate welfare, what I'm saying to him is actually that workers are worth every dime, and particularly Algoma ones in light of the American unjustified tariffs. Right. And that is exactly why we decided, along with the Conservatives in Ontario, actually with Doug Ford's government, to support the company as it was facing existential threat. The company was not going well. We knew we needed to help. We decided to make the investments, and meanwhile, we know that the future can be brighter because we're working on two things: a steel plant, a beam mill, and a plate mill for defense and infrastructure.
She's an absolute numbskull, and I know I give Chrystia Freeland a hard time for her clothing choices in the House of Commons because she always wears the same dress, just in a different color. But I've noticed that Jolie does the same thing. She wears that I'm going on safari outfit, just in different colors, because she wore it in red when she appeared at committee, and now she's wearing it in green, and I think I've seen it in black before.
At least she isn't picking her toenails, so I guess there's that. Give her
I saw Freeland put her hair in a scrunchie at a meeting on stage and put her and sit on her feet, by the way, like put her feet underneath her bum on stage with the British foreign minister. I wanted to die. Like I just was having a full-bodied cringe. She just like put her hair in like a high mum scrunchie that we all unfortunately put our hair in sometimes, but I wouldn't do it on the stage at like a high-level meeting.
Representing the entire country.
I wanted to die. It was just so bad. These ladies. Anyway.
All right.